We're recording. This is my recording voice.
Wow.
Super loud. Super in your face.
Super loud?
Guys, we have so much to go over. And I didn't even do a proper introduction. I am Tim Martinek. We are Precarious Pixels. And the we I'm talking about is not the Wii U, which we were just talking about, but it is Bob.
That's true. I am Bob.
And we were talking about the Wii U. In my opinion, we were.
We're also talking about things you can get away with if you say, in my opinion, or I'm pretty sure beforehand.
That's right. Or I feel. This is how I feel about it.
Yeah, I feel that the Wii U was not Nintendo's best system.
I feel that the Earth is flat.
Yeah. Are you a flat earther, Tim?
I am a flat earther.
I'm so sorry.
We've talked about flat Earth before.
Yeah, we have.
Or some people believe hollow Earth, which I think those people are crazy, because flat Earth is obviously what it is.
Yeah, if anything, I would say it's flat Earth over hollow Earth.
Yeah, because that's why you can dig all the way to China.
Like, there's only hollow men, there's not hollow Earth.
Exactly.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Couldn't see himself in the mirror anymore, and just look what he could do.
Look what he resorted to immediately.
I know, I was just, when I think about that movie, it was like, that's just too weird.
Unless the experiment was having an effect on his mental stability.
That's true. It's kind of like the Invisible Man. Like when he turned himself invisible, it kind of affected his mental state as well. That's right. We almost had that movie. Johnny Depp. What are you doing now? Not Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, he's. Maybe he will now.
Really?
Well, I don't know. They pulled him off. They pulled him off because of.
He wanted too much money.
Sure.
That. And also,
I think it had to do with the scandal with his wife.
That, a little bit of that.
Ex-wife.
And
but
also,
then they proved that she was abusive, not him.
Yes, which was weird, but not outside the realm of possibilities.
Yeah, I mean, Australia dog.
Australia dog.
That means nothing to anybody listening.
I know. But we're way off topic here. So, as I was saying, we are Precarious Pixels. We're gonna be I'm trying to write this train immediately. We have so much to talk about.
We're Precarious Pixels, and we don't think that Johnny Depp is a wife beater.
No, we don't. But we don't know.
In our opinion.
In our opinion. We don't know.
Yes.
I've heard stuff from like people who actually have known him and stuff, and they're like...
The Keith Richards, Tim?
Yes. We're old buddies. Showed him how to play guitar.
Wow.
Before he was just faking it.
You're much older than I thought.
Yeah. But this week, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
And we saw them. Yeah.
Sure.
So, the biggest opening weekend for, I think, of all time, Avengers Endgame. I think it's... I don't know the final count, but yesterday... It was up to $1.2 billion. That's for an opening weekend. That's insane. Insane amount of money.
It's a lot of scratch.
It is. And just to let everybody know, we're going to spoil the crap out of it while we're talking about it today.
I think it's fair. If 12 million people have seen it, or 10 million or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. So we're going to spoil it. We're giving you a heads up. And, of course, I think everybody has seen Game of Thrones, so spoilers for that as well. We're going to talk some Game of Thrones today.
Yeah, I'm finally caught up. I can talk about it.
Yeah, but first, a new game came out, and Bob got to not really play too much of it, but he got a little bit of time in with it. Days Gone, which is, I don't know if you call it open. It's open world.
It is open world.
It is survival.
Zombie
apocalypse kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
survival crafting zombies. So
wait, the zombies
stuff?
like to craft?
No, you craft.
Oh, I thought it was like the zombies crafting. I was like, oh, that's nice of them. They don't attack you. They make things for you.
That would be awesome. But they're not zombies. They're freakers.
Freakers. Yeah, they're not They're not zombies. They're walkers.
Yeah. They drink water.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is weird.
So, do they still try to bite you or whatever?
Yeah. They're
What are they?
zombies, but they're not zombies.
That's weird.
Don't call them zombies because everybody's afraid of making a zombie game. Hey, you know what that game, it's impossible to get your hands on because everybody loves it? It's called World War Z. It's about zombies.
Was there a World War Z game?
They just put one out. It's impossible to get because it's good and it's the game everybody wanted.
Oh, okay.
Everybody wants the next Left 4 Dead.
Yes. I mean, Left 4 Dead was amazing.
Imagine Left 4 Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Add in the zombies climbing each other, like those scenes in the World War Z movie where they're trying to climb the wall in Jerusalem.
Right.
That in the game, and they're all shootable, like 4-player co-op.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah. And
so
then,
you can shoot the guys at the bottom and...
Yeah. You can mess it up. Or imagine adding in skill trees and leveling your characters by playing through the levels again in a Left 4 Dead game.
Oh, yeah.
And you have the perfect storm of a $40 game by some small company that's making a fortune.
Well, it's not, but it is based off of World War Z, right?
It's based off the book.
The book by
Mel Brooks' son.
Max Brooks, yes.
Mel Brooks Jr.
Mel Brooks Jr., but not his name, Max Brooks, who used to be a writer on Saturday Night Live for a short time.
Mel Brooks or Max?
Max Brooks.
Okay, gotcha.
He
Not
was
related to Max Landis.
Not related to Max Landis.
But also the son of a famous director.
Yes.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you ever listen to the audiobook version of the Zombie Survival Guide or World War Z, they have a lot of famous people doing voices. I think Martin Scorsese does one.
Gene Wilder.
Was it Gene Wilder?
No,
I don't
probably
know.
not.
I was gonna say that. Bruce Boxleitner. I forget who else. There's some other really good actors they got in there. So, but yeah, really. So that's a hard game to get.
It's impossible because nobody knew it was going to be good until it came out.
Oh.
It was one of those there was no hype behind it. I think Focus might have published it. Focus Home Interactive.
Right, and then somebody picked it up, started playing it, and then
as soon as it hit the tubes of you and Twitch, it was just boom. It's over.
Everybody wanted it.
Everybody wanted it, and it was impossible to keep in stock.
Yeah. So as comparable to Days Gone.
Compared to Days Gone, which was been hyped for
I've
3 years.
Seen commercials for it, seen a lot of stuff for it.
So far what I played of it is exactly what I expected,
Mm-hmm.
which is an attempt at being The Last of Us in a
Um,
more open world environment with a motorcycle.
But isn't The Last of Us a little bit... I mean, it's pretty open world.
No.
I mean, not exactly open world, right?
No, it's just levels.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. I always thought it was more open world than it was.
It's open areas while you're fighting levels, but it's not open world.
It's not completely open world.
No.
Okay.
And it's more stealth. This has stealth. I guess you could play the game pure stealth if you want to. But if you're going to give me a gun and you're going to let me shoot a zombie, I'm going to shoot a zombie.
Right.
You can call it whatever you want to. You can call it a freaker.
A freaker.
Or a walker, or you can call it what they call it in Last of Us, which is a clicker.
Oh, yeah.
They're still zombies.
Yeah, they are.
You shoot them in the face.
Yeah. It's like they're infected with those spores or whatever.
Yeah, and this has more of a melee system too, but everything breaks after 4 zombie kills.
Oh, so it's like you hit them a few times with something and then that item in your hand breaks?
Yeah, you hit them, you kill 4 of them, because you have to hit them a bunch to kill them.
Okay.
The only thing that never breaks is your knife, your boot knife. Do you know why you have a boot knife?
Why?
Because you're a biker.
Yes, because all bikers have boot knives.
Well, it's important because apparently in the post-apocalyptic future, everybody rides a motorcycle.
Oh, nobody has
None
cars?
of the cars function.
Really?
Only motorcycles.
The least gas-holding thing you could have.
Yep. Well, which is another thing that you encounter pretty often because you drive maybe to 3 different objectives and you better have gotten gas at some point during the stops because otherwise you don't have it.
Right.
There's some cool elements like burning out freaker ID holes, whatever you want to call them. And I guess they have a name for them. I forgot what it is.
Okay.
I'm going to call it nests. I think nests might be the name they use.
Okay.
Which is just, apparently these things live in branches huddled together. Like, it almost looks like a rat nest, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And then when you burn it, some of them come running out. Or sometimes a lot of them come running out. And there's no way to predict it.
Oh, really?
So you better have something ready to kill them.
Oh, really?
Because they know right where you are. You throw that Molotov there.
So as soon as you burn their like little hidey hole, they all come running out, and that could be anywhere from how many?
I've had, I think the most I had was like 6.
Okay.
Which sounds like not that bad, right?
Right.
But when they're all rushing at you
True.
at once, and you can only throw a Molotov from like maybe 20 game feet away,
Okay.
you better be ready to shoot them because you can't melee them fast enough. You're getting attacked.
Okay.
So be ready to shoot them. Be ready to shoot them in the head because if you don't shoot them in the head, they're not going down.
Okay.
Like not right away.
So it still plays by that zombie rule.
Yeah. For an insta-kill. And then there's also things called rippers.
Okay.
What rippers are, or... Oh my god, it stands for this. It stands for this. Rest in peace, Urs.
Oh my god.
And they are the people who have gone crazy. They are, what did we see recently that had something of this element? Bird Box.
Okay, Bird Box.
They're the Bird Box people who want you to go crazy like them.
Right. And see it, whatever.
Yeah, so what they do is you have a friend,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not far enough to see if he's gonna die, but he'll probably die.
Mm-hmm.
And your friend at one point gets abducted, and they try literally burning him on his arm with like a what are those called? The little gas cans with like the torch that comes out.
Oh, like a blowtorch?
A blowtorch, yeah.
Okay.
They just burn at his arm
Wow.
until you stop them. And now he's pretty upset. He's got 3rd-degree burns, and you're trying to keep him alive.
Oh.
Ryan, with my character whose name is Deacon St. John.
Really?
A terrible name.
Why?
I don't know. That's his name.
Deacon St. John.
Deacon St. John is that character's name, and the guy you're trying to save, his name is Boozer.
Oh, okay. I thought his name would be like Jesus the Christ or something.
No, because they're bikers.
Okay.
There's no Jesus in biking.
Really? Deacon. A deacon is a member of the church.
Yeah, but it's a game.
All right.
It feels like it needed a better writer,
Okay.
and there's some clunk to it. It's got a little bit of that Euro jank, but I'm pretty sure it's not a European studio. They're from Oregon,
Oh, okay.
so I don't know how it has the Euro jank, but it has it. I also can't get on my motorcycle right now, so I found a glitch.
Oh, really?
It just won't let me ride it. So I don't know how I'm going to solve that. But
it just randomly you try to get on your motorcycle and
it
won't let
will
you?
not let you select to get on it.
Okay.
So I did a mission,
Mm-hmm.
and then I left my motorcycle outside the mission because if you get too close, the freakers will hear it and then they'll come and kill you.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be sneaky, and then I tried to get back on my motorcycle, and it's laying down for some reason, but I didn't leave it that way.
Right.
Doesn't let me on. So I went back to a save. Can't get on it. It's standing up now, but I can't get on it.
Okay.
So I guess I just can't ride my motorcycle anymore.
Oh, wow.
In this game that's open world with a pretty big map.
Wow. So you're just stuck.
I guess I'll just restart the game. So thank you, Sony Bend Studios, for making that polished game. So when we when you asked me earlier if I wanted to talk about it, the answer is yes, but I'm angry at it.
It's okay to be angry.
It's a pretty rough glitch, because if I can't ride this for the rest of the game, I'm sure there's a way they'll patch, but if I can't play the game anymore, or if I can't ride it, I'm not going to want to play it.
Yeah. You can't just run everywhere.
Which means you sold me a broke game.
Yeah. And that seems like something that they should have tested extensively.
Yeah, I guess they just wanted to put it out. It had been delayed like 4 times.
Okay. So they had already seen it as like something that was glitchy, and they really wanted it to be like, like just get it out and hype it up. Oh, it's great. It's look, it's open world. Blah 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 blah. I get you.
They're freakers.
Freakers.
It's a big thing. It's
the worst name I've heard for zombies.
It's every interview that I've seen or heard with these guys. They're like, they're not zombies. They're freakers. They're zombies. I can admit it. You can admit it. Webster from Merriam-Webster can admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? They're zombies. I don't care if they drink water.
Which doesn't make sense to me.
Well, the only time I've seen them drink water, or even the only thing I can think of, is they did this because I found a swarm of them. Like, I was riding my motorcycle along, and I found a little nest.
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to take out that nest. And then I looked right, and it's like a dock you're near.
Okay.
And to the left is like the little building.
Okay.
That I'm going to throw a Molotov in. And I look to the right, and there are, I swear to God, like 30 of them hanging out in the water.
Wow.
Twitching all weird, because that's the thing now with zombies, is they got to do that twitch from like Samara in the Ring. That was popular 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's weird.
They continue, or 20 years ago, I guess, in movies. They continue to do that in every zombie thing now. Or monster.
Yeah. Which is weird, because zombies are just supposed to be like, if they're not running at you, it's just kind of like they're like just limping around a little bit or whatever.
Now they twitch.
There's
30 of them in the water twitching. And I know as soon as I throw that Molotov, not only are the 8 in the house that I'm sure I'll get this time because 6 wasn't enough, then not only are they going to run at me, but all of these other freakers are going to run at me.
Okay. And they're hydrated.
And they're hydrated from drinking water.
That's right.
But I think they're only in that water because they need to be separate from normal Zambambos.
Okay.
But if the game wasn't broken, it would be pretty good so far. Needs a writer and a little more interesting thing. Also, hey, guess what, Sony? We get it. You put a speaker in your controller. You know what I don't want to hear? Anything through that speaker ever. Stop it.
What keeps coming out of the speaker?
It's anytime you pick up, there's collectibles. First off, me walking up to a tourist attraction, seeing the thing, and pressing a button, I don't care about that collectible. I don't care about landmarks. I don't care about it. Stop putting them in the games. Second, when you have little radio things, all right, when you're driving around on your motorcycle, take a step back, and you hear Radio Free Oregon, which is like another campsite. There's a leader there who broadcasts radio stuff. He calls it that, I think. Who cares? Whatever. That's fine. You hear that through your normal TV.
Okay.
For some reason, godforsaken reason, when you pick up the collectibles that are recorded audio logs, they have to come through your stupid controller. And I don't want it. I never wanted a controller speaker. I never wanted it. You know what nobody wants? That. Because when you have your TV at a reasonable volume and you don't want to hear it loud.
Right.
You just want to hear it. All of a sudden you got blasting through some nerd freaking out because he's getting attacked by freakers. And then some other military person yelling in the background. We get it. It's cool that you can do that. Don't do it unless I ask you to. Or give me an option to shut it off. Guess what's not an option?
What?
Shutting that off. You know what I did as soon as I heard it the first time? Attempted to shut it off.
Right.
It's not a thing. This is the second time I've been approached by this. Let's talk about Dragon Quest Heroes.
Oh, wow.
You know what I don't want to hear? A slime. Have you ever heard a slime talk?
No.
It's awful. It's awful. And it's making stupid puns through the controller in the middle of the game. So I've got better watch out or get good. I hate you. I hate you, whoever designed that. It's the worst. It's the worst. So it's almost as bad as Infamous Second Son.
Oh,
For some reason, Sony First Party and Square, or not Square, whoever makes, I think it's Square actually, Square makes Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I think so.
have taken it upon themselves that if the control... Also, this controller's been out for 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is as long as Days Gone, I guess, has been in development, so fair.
Okay.
But Infamous Second Son had this cool thing where you shook the controller.
Yeah.
Because he was an anarchist. And
Right.
he likes to spray paint stuff. So you turn the controller on its side and you shake it like a spray can before you move it back and forth to spray paint things.
Okay.
Okay, it's cool the first time. Guess how many times it's not cool?
How many?
More than one. So that was the Sony first party thing that they chose to do. And now it's collect this thing and you get to hear stuff through your controller that you don't want to hear. So guess what I'm not going to collect any more of?
That thing.
Yeah, and I'm going to get mad every time I accidentally collect it because everything else in the world you need to collect for gear. And you don't know it. Like, you walk up to a thing, it's like, oh, you can pick this up. It's a little white marker. I'm not going to read what it says because it's an icon.
Right.
Like, I can't tell. It could be stuff I need for bandages, or stuff that I need for crafting upgrades to my guns, or stuff that I need for my motorcycle to repair that. But every once in a while I get that nice little surprise of, we're pinned down, like shouting through my controller. I don't want to hear it.
And it gives you nothing, right?
No, it's like it's a collectible. It's something towards a trophy that I'm never going to care about.
Right.
I don't care. Stop it. Like, as much of a tangent as that is, it's actively, between that and the glitch, I'm actively learning to hate a game that's somewhat enjoyable.
Yeah.
They've got some cool things, like you can collect suppressors for your guns. That's really cool.
Wow, that is cool.
And there's a crossbow, and that's fun.
Okay.
And there's random, like the Rippers.
Mm-hmm.
Did I even say what they were?
They're just religious people.
They're not religious. They're just nuts. And they also set up, like, traps for you on the road. So every once in a while, I've had, like, things like blockades set up. And then if I stop to go around it or whatever, I've had them attack me.
Oh, wow.
And that's cool. Like, that's the environment working against you.
Yeah.
It's fun. And I've had snipers. Like, I had a sniper trap. I got shot off my motorcycle by a guy.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was cool. But guess what?
What?
I don't want to hear it through my controller. Stop it. Or make it an option. What year is it? It's 2019. You've had this chance for 5 years. 5.5. Give me a setting.
You know, there's a guy out in Oregon who's like, people are going to love this. People are going to talk about this in the game because it's...
Nobody said they love it. I didn't read it in a single review. Oh, every once in a while you get crap through your speaker. No. Wonderful.
Yeah,
you know why? Because they're all playing on headsets. Everybody that's reviewing it is playing it on a headset in an office, in a cubicle.
Probably.
They don't have to listen to corporate accounts payable Nina. It's an Office Space joke.
Yes.
It's the worst. It is the worst thing for me to have to hate because it's as simple as making it an option in the menu.
You can just turn off.
And anybody that's listening to this and they're saying right now, they're shouting at whatever device they're listening to on, well, you can go through the Sony controller settings and shut that off. I hate you. Because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to go through the system settings to shut off an option in a game.
That's true.
It's as simple as them saying, hey, have it, because I don't want to not hear it at all.
Right.
I want to know what the lore is.
Oh, so if you turn off that speaker, you won't be able to hear it.
I guess I'll never hear that. I don't know. Because it's a setting through the system, it's not a setting through the game.
Right. So the game still thinks that that's available.
Right.
All right. Yeah, that's I don't know. That's silly.
It is silly.
You think that they would test that and find out that it was annoying to people?
Well, no, because who's testing it? What are they listening to it on?
True.
Headsets, which means it's probably coming right through that. But 90% of the people out there playing a game, are single player, are playing it through their TV because who are they going to communicate with?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's single player only.
So this... Oh, okay. That is the thing. This is only single player?
Yeah, it's a Sony...
It has no online multiplayer option, anything, deathmatch, nothing.
It is just single player. Sony has made this generation for them, for most of their first party, about being single player.
Okay.
Campaign focused games. Spider-Man, God of War, Last of Us Remastered. I know that kind of counts. Infamous Second Son.
Okay.
No Man's Sky when they didn't lie about it.
No Man's Sky.
Although that's not Sony first party, I guess. That's Hello Games. It was Sony exclusive at first, but now it's on Xbox and PC.
And is anybody really playing it anymore?
No, because it had a pretty negative reaction.
Yeah.
You know what it was like? It was like eating poison ivy.
Wow.
Somebody said there'll be online multiplayer to this poison ivy if you eat it. That was the first game that Sony PlayStation 4 store allowed refunds for.
Wow.
It was that bad.
That is bad.
Well, when you lie about something, even passively lie.
That can technically be consumer fraud.
Yeah.
If they can prove it. But we're getting way off topic. So, Days Gone, it's okay.
It's pretty good when it's not broken.
Yeah. Are you going to keep playing it?
If I can get on my motorcycle.
Okay.
I'm going to have to go through and find a save that lets me get on a motorcycle.
Gotcha.
Or start the game over.
Which would be annoying.
Which means I'll trade it in and put it towards something else.
Right. So, we'll talk to you more about that if you keep going with it. But we'll jump into what we were talking about before. So this week, Saturday, we went and saw Avengers Endgame, and it is the culmination. And again, I'm saying spoilers, super spoilers for this movie. It is the culmination of 10 years of Marvel movies. They put in, like, I thought they had packed Infinity War with a lot of stuff. This is packed with so many things and so many, like, it. And I guess you could watch it even if you haven't seen all the movies, but if you've seen all the movies, you get a little bit more out of it. You get a little bit more enjoyment and stuff like that. So right off the bat, it starts you right in. I'm trying to think now before the time jump.
Well, first you have the Hawkeye, his family.
Yes, that's what. Yeah, I was just thinking about it,
Ashley.
like trying to think when that happened, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right at the beginning. So right at the beginning, you see Hawkeye's family dusted, basically his entire family.
That's pre-Marvel Scroll even. Like they just start it.
Yeah,
like
that's the cold open,
which is so depressing.
So depressing. My wife leaned over to me and pretty much just like sarcastically said to me, "Thank you for bringing me to this movie. Thank you so much." But it is true. It's like after the last movie, you kind of expected maybe a little bit more upbeat, but I think they kind of wanted to hit you with it's been a year since the movie came out. Remember what happened? Everybody got turned into dust.
They sure did.
And basically they hit you with like his entire family, his daughter, 2 sons, and his wife just completely gone. And just like all he was doing was like turning around and like they were talking about, you know, hot dogs when they were at a picnic. You know, they saw that he had like his ankle monitor on because, like Scott Lang, he took the plea deal. So it's just like it's like they can't operate outside of doing superhero stuff anymore. But you know, they don't have to spend time in jail. So, just like they're having a picnic and boom, they're gone. And then it goes into Marvel, Marvel Studios or whatever. And I'm trying to think, like it goes.
Then it goes to Tony and Nebula.
Right. And they're
in space.
Just
playing,
in space.
Paper football.
Yeah.
With something looks like foil.
Yeah, like some sort of like foil or something. I'm guessing it's like some sort of like foil or something they have on the ship. And explaining it to her, like it's like no, you have to make the goalpost. Like he's doing basically like the make the two like L's, I guess, with your fingers or whatever, and trying to show her that you don't have to attack me, just like kicking it through.
Yeah, he's teaching her to have fun, to give her some humanity.
Right. And basically, it goes into we're running out of air. We have like only so much fuel cells broken, blah blah blah. Food's running out, all that stuff. So he's recording a message telling Pepper Potts goodbye, all that, and just as they're about to, I'm guessing like she kind of tucks him in, and he's like just about to pass off and die. A big glowing light comes out.
Yep, sure does.
It does.
God comes down from on heaven.
Yes. God is a woman. We all knew that. Alanis Morissette. And Alanis Morissette is like, hey, how you doing, Tony? More of just, it's Captain Marvel. And she, takes her ship and, like, brings it home. So they get back to Earth. And I'm trying to think, like, at that point, like, did they go to get Thanos?
No, that's after.
That's after. Like, he comes back and
He comes back, and then because he doesn't go with them.
Right, that's right. He just has like he kind of has like a bit of a freak out.
Yeah, he pulls out his little Iron Man thing that keeps him alive.
No, that doesn't keep him alive anymore, remember? It's just like a nano thing.
Okay.
So he doesn't really need that anymore.
Yeah, well, it causes him to have some sort of...
I think he just has like a panic attack and he's probably malnourished. He looked a little skinny.
Yeah, he looked super skinny.
Yeah, so I think it was just more of... And he was stabbed through the stomach, so...
Yeah, well, he has a panic attack. They find out that there was another signature of energy that matched the one that caused everybody to turn to dust on a planet.
Right.
Rocket finds that out, actually.
Yeah, because it's like it matches the same energy. Because no being in the universe has ever used that kind of that much energy before. And then he's like, oh, until like a day ago when this planet just turned green or whatever.
Yeah.
So he like Nebula says, hey, that's Thanos's. Like he wants to retire. That's
he
like
wants to build a garden.
Build a garden or whatever. So that's where they figured that he is with the Infinity Stones and so forth. Which is kind of a departure. Like, it never hurt anybody to use the Infinity Stones before. That's kind of a weird thing that they've kind of put in these movies. But I guess it makes sense that it would hurt you to use that much power.
There's a lot of changes they made. I mean, that's not really a change to what's been happening, because that kind of happened with him before.
Right, when he did use them the first time, it kind of burned him or whatever.
Yeah. There's character changes they made in this particular movie that I thought were weird.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff that was going on. So they go to get Thanos. They're like, he's got the stones. Let's go get him. We can reverse all this stuff, and like nothing ever happened. So they get there. Wait till he gets into his little hut or whatever, and just he's cooking with he's boiling some water or something, I guess cooking, and like just jump in there and hack off his arm, which doesn't have any Infinity Stones on it. Like they took the glove arm off, and there's no Infinity Stones in the glove.
Yeah, Captain Marvel puts him in instant chokehold.
Yeah,
which just goes to prove that she is unhurtable. Like nothing stops her. She's the strongest and the best at everything.
Which also is kind of like, even like I've heard a lot of people say, it almost makes her a little bit boring now.
A little bit.
A lot.
She's.
It is almost like because I don't even think Carol Danvers in the comics is this powerful.
Make her weak to something.
Yes,
it used to kids talking to her about Pokemon. I don't care.
Exactly. Because in the comics, they actually had a smart way of doing it. She can get powerful, but she kind of has to level up. And every time she uses a blast, it kind of powers her down a little bit. So it's like not in this. It's so weird. I'm just like, why is she has infinite amount of energy? Like it's like she does have infinite amount of energy in the comics, but it's like she blasts something and then she's powered down a little bit, and then she has to power back up and do it again. She almost has to absorb more energy to keep blasting out, which makes sense to me. This is just like she has never-ending energy, and then it's just like that doesn't really make sense, and it makes her so powerful. I'm just like, not all these characters have like that. Like Thor is strong, but it's just like it's not like Superman level strong, which is kind of what she is now, and like even stronger than the Hulk. The Hulk can even get hurt. It's just like now it's just like she's even more powerful than that. So it's very strange that they did it this way. We'll see what's going forward. Maybe they'll change that going forward with like the next Captain Marvel movies. I'm sure they're gonna make.
Are they?
Maybe.
They made $1 billion. I guess they would.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna keep making.
They said
them.
She's gonna be the face of the MCU moving forward.
We'll see. I kind of think Black Panther was gonna be, but
It's a boring face.
It doesn't smile.
Yeah, I mean she did. Well, she smiled a little bit in the movie. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
In Captain Marvel movie, she smiled a little bit. I don't think she smiled in this one.
Maybe once or twice.
Yeah, maybe when Thor said I like this one.
Honestly, yeah, that. But also, she wasn't in this that much. Like she was in it very sparingly.
Almost like they threw her in at the last minute.
Yes, and I don't know if entirely they threw it in the last minute, but also I think it was more of it. It makes it a little more perilous when you don't have that powerful a character. It's kind of like with even like things like the Justice League. Superman's usually off doing something else, and then maybe comes in late or something like that. So I'm trying to think where we left. So they don't have the stones.
Yeah,
they can't reverse it. They don't know what to do. Thanos has not only did he like use them to make the garden, but he used them to destroy the stones themselves. So they're gone completely.
Yeah, so nobody can undo what he did.
Nobody can undo what he did, and then it goes into 5 years later.
What do they do after that? What does Thor do after that?
He aims for the head.
That's right, he goes for the head.
He goes for the head and just chops off Thanos' head.
Which I disagree, because he went for the neck.
He did. Yeah. And Thanos' head just rolls around.
He's dead.
Dead as a doornail. And I think Nebula closes his eyes, but I'm just like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So Thanos completely gone. 5 years pass. People haven't really, I guess, moved on enough. Like it's
some people are trying to. Cap is trying to move on. He's trying to help people move on.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson's sort of taken up the mantle of keeping everything in check.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Black Widow.
Black Widow.
Then you've got War Machine, who's working apparently with, I guess,
whatever government agencies are
DEA,
left.
yeah.
Yeah. I imagine probably at that point, all government agencies, if they're U.S. ones, you'd almost have to go into one kind of thing, because you don't have enough people to maybe do DEA, FBI, CIA, all that stuff. And even if you could, it just I could just see that kind of making everybody kind of go into one world kind of thing almost.
Yeah.
Because even there's parts where they show the streets and they're covered with garbage and stuff, because probably garbage pickup isn't a regular thing.
Yeah, they're only getting half as many people picking up.
Exactly, and that's the thing. And just only kill half the population, but then you just think, well, half all the people in the world aren't doctors. Half of all the people in the world aren't one thing or another. It's just it's not it really kind of messes things up. So, but funny thing is, in the group with Cap, that is one of the Russo brothers basically plays the guy with the glasses, and they're talking about he tried to go on a date and they both cried or whatever, basically, because it's they're still dealing with it. And Cap does what Cap always does. He's super optimist, so he's trying to get everybody to keep going. And then I don't know if it happens immediately after that. We find Scarlett Johansson's basically finding out she's doing almost the Nick Fury thing and finding out what everybody's doing, and finds out War Machine tells her that they think it's Clint Barton is just massacring people like the Punisher.
Yeah, he's being the Punisher, which is, I guess, what Ronan always kind of is.
A little bit, yeah.
Which is funny because he goes right from Mexico to Japan for no reason.
Yeah, which I was just like, wow, that's okay.
But yeah, so then Cap's talking about to her. He's like, you gotta move on. She's like, well, I am. This is how I'm moving on. Like, I'm trying to keep this. Somebody has to keep this all down. So,
right.
Immediately, Ant-Man shows up.
Yes.
He's like, hey guys. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. They have a weird scene where Ken Jeong shows up and doesn't speak.
Yes.
There's a few. Can we talk about Nick Fury not talking about it at all in this movie? He does not say a word.
Yeah, that's true.
You put Sam Jackson in a movie not to speak.
Yeah. And there's a lot of characters who just kind of just show up. Like, I didn't even realize that, well, we'll get to that later, but, like, people from, like, Iron Man 3 show up.
Kid.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I didn't either. I was just like, oh, that's him? Yeah. But yeah, like, a lot of characters that you're just like, wow, okay, we're just going to brush over that.
Well, they got to be in it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Ant-Man, a rat steps on the machine and he gets...
I don't know if it's the rat that does it or just that it was like he managed to find a way to get out.
No, I think the rat hits the button.
Oh, really? I didn't think that was it. I thought it was just like he found a way to get out or something like that.
He hits the button, I'm telling you.
Okay.
He does.
All right. Well, anyways, Ant-Man gets out of
the
quantum realm.
Ken Jeong reacts in a way without any sort of voice, and there's no reason for him to be there.
Yeah. Other than these guys are Community fans.
No, I feel like...
I mean, they were directors on Community.
I feel like this movie, its actual cut is 6 hours long.
I bet. I'm betting there is a 6-hour cut where they have a full improv scene where they just making jokes or something like that.
Arguably, two of the funnier people in the movies,
True.
Paul Rudd and Ken Jeong, they're in this movie, and they just can't. They can't communicate at all. So
yeah,
that stinks. Anyway, he shows up at Avengers headquarters and he's like, "Hey guys,
yeah,
I think I have an idea." And then they're like, "I'm gonna try and move it quicker just because."
Yeah, of course. Because there's a lot to cover.
He's like, "Hey guys, I have an idea. Maybe we can go back." And they're like, "Is it a time machine?" He's like, "No, it's not a time machine." "Oh wait, it's a time machine."
Yes.
And they're like, "That's stupid, but maybe we can make this work."
Yes.
With the Pym particle and the quantum realm.
Right.
Boom. They go to Iron Man.
And they basically say, "Hey, Tony, you want to do this?" And he's like, "No."
He's like, "No, I have a kid now.
I have a kid. I have a wife. My Pepper Potts didn't disappear. I'm good."
Yeah. So he's like, "I'm not going to do that. It's too risky." And then Cap's like, "We need a bigger brain. Or we need another big brain." And Ant-Man's like, "Well, who's got a bigger brain than him?" And he's like, "I know somebody with a much bigger brain." And it's Professor Hulk.
Yes, which is something they kind of brush over really quick. But it is something that does happen to the Hulk. I forget what the version they called. Well, maybe they did call it Professor Hulk. But basically, it's like Banner and the Hulk kind of reconcile into one person. It's almost like he becomes a new person. This one seems more like he's still Banner-esque.
Yeah, he's got the Banner personality.
Yeah. In the other versions that kind of go forward, he's almost like a completely different person, kind of like the Hulk's mass, but just more intelligent. I think at the time they were thinking more of like action hero, I don't know, like Schwarzenegger or something like that. But this is definitely it's Bruce Banner, but big and strong.
Which and he's like, "I don't really know how to do this," and then there's hilarity ensues, and then
yes, there's some comedy beats. They turn Scott young, they turn Scott old. He pees his pants or whatever. Yeah.
Then Iron Man's like, "I'm totally not going to do this, Tony Stark." But then he's running tests at his lodge in the woods, which apparently has a supercomputer downstairs.
Sure.
Right next to Pepper. By the way, can we talk about the simulation is running 3 feet from her and she doesn't pay attention?
Yes.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me, but
she doesn't pay attention to any of it because there's a whole conversation with the kid where he swears and he's like, "That's mommy's word. Mommy created that word." He actually says that.
Yes. Yes, which is pretty funny. Like the exchange he has with the little girl is pretty funny.
Yeah, I like his personality. Morgan, I think is his daughter's name.
Yes, Morgan.
I thought that was cool. Like all the stuff with him and Pepper was good. And later on, he's like, Pepper, I solved it. He's like, but I don't know if I should do anything. I think I might put a pin in it. She's like, no, you can't. You'll never be able to rest.
Yeah, and he does look at a picture of Peter Parker, Spider-Man, or whatever.
Yeah, and that reminds him.
It reminds him, like, Peter dying in front of him, disappearing. So he decides he's going to go help, and Captain America walks outside, and there's a sports car that's driving up, and he's like, gives him back his shield, and he's like, let's do this. I fixed it.
His repaired shield, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I figured out how to do it, so let's do it. And then it is wacky time travel ensues. And this is pretty much like a love letter to the 10 years. So they go back through, trying to think which movies they go back through, but the first Avengers movie, because at that time, 3 stones were in New York.
Yep.
They go
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the first movie.
Infinity War. And they don't really... I guess it's not really any of the movies, but they go back to 1970.
1970, when... because they needed more pin particles, and they needed the last stone because they tried to heist the stone when they captured Loki or whatever in the first Avengers movie, but that all got messed up, and Loki ended up disappearing with the stone. So that could come back later.
It could.
They get the time stone from what's her face, Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, the ancient one.
The ancient one. Because she's at that time the Sorceress Supreme in New York.
And she knows everything that's happening.
Yeah, she gets it. Like, she sees what's going on.
She sees the future, too, because she's able to know what's going to happen and who each person is.
Right. And they said that Steven said this Dr. Strange said this is the only way that, we could win.
No, just that he gave it up.
He gave it up. He gave the time stone
willingly.
Up. Yes.
And she's like, he was meant to be the best of us. He wouldn't do that unless he had a good reason. And then she does the same thing to them.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that happens. We're trying to get through all of it. It was 3 hours and 2 minutes long, this movie, so...
Thor gets fat and becomes Valkyrie. Valkyrie...
becomes Valkyrie?
I mean, he becomes a drunk sort of party animal, and she becomes the stoic hero with no explanation.
Yeah, other than, like, he's depressed after, he's dealing with, he messed up, that he thinks it's completely his fault that, trillions are dead. And I get that. Korg and Meek are still alive.
Yeah,
which
they're good.
I thought they all blew up on the ship, but
no,
I guess not.
I'm glad they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't because I love those guys, and I think they realized that.
There is zero explanation for for Korg, Meek, and Valkyrie being there at all.
Yeah. I have no idea why there are any Asgardians still alive.
They shouldn't be.
That was the thing. It was like... But somebody had said that there might have been a part that they had cut out where Valkyrie escaped when Thanos attacked the ship with, like, a group of Asgardians.
And becomes...
And, like, leads them to Earth eventually.
King-worthy.
Yeah. Just much later.
I don't understand that.
Sure.
No. At that point, she already is, apparently, because there are almost no interactions between Thor and Valkyrie after that.
Yeah. That's so weird.
I would argue that there are no interactions between those two after that.
Yeah.
Because it's literally the next time he sees her, it's on the battlefield and everybody's fighting.
Right.
That's it. There's no Valkyries here at this, whatever event. She's not there.
Yeah, that's true.
She's just hanging out with Korg, playing Fortnite.
In Fortnite, which I was hilarious. Like, it was like a lot of people laughed at that because they know, like, all that stuff about, like, trying to think what it was even that the guy was doing.
He was smack talking, and Thor gets on and threatens to rip his head off or something.
Yeah, rip his head off and, like, burn down his house or something along those lines. I forget what exactly the whole thing was, but
Fat Thor does.
Fat Thor. Or I like to call it Lebowski Thor.
Lebowski. Well, I think they call him Lebowski. He dresses and acts like him. I don't know why he becomes a hippie.
Yeah, he basically becomes Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, I also don't know why he's incapable of telling a story all of a sudden.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe all the beer.
Well, depression, maybe. I don't know. It's crazy amount of stuff happens. So Thor's kind of like, not fully himself. The Black Widow gets Hawkeye. Finds him in Japan.
Gets Ronin.
Ronin. He's going in the Ronin outfit now. Basically carrying a sword and throwing ninja stars into people.
Having a faux hawk.
What?
Having a faux hawk.
Having a faux hawk, has tabbed up arms. So, sure. And basically, it's like they have a plan. They're going to get the stones. They all travel through time at different points. They get all the stones, but at one point when they're in the Guardians era stone...
2014, I think it was.
2014, Nebula's, I guess like her network or whatever, through her one of her implants, interacts with her 2014 version with her 2018 or 2019, I guess, version. Or actually, it would probably be even 2023 version, which I'm not sure how that works, but...
I've also got a problem with the fact that they try and claim that Robert Downey Jr. is 49 years old.
Yes.
Several times.
How old is he actually?
Older than that. He's got to be like late 50s.
Is he? I don't think he is. I thought... Really? I don't know. I actually have no clue how old he is. He could be late 50s.
He was... How old was he when they made Weird Science?
Oh, I don't know. Wait, he was in Weird Science?
I think so.
I thought he was in the other one.
I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. is older than 49. I think we can agree there.
Okay, sure. I agree with that. He's a very youthful appearance.
He does.
But anyways, so when they had the interaction with the network, they realize they can view the past version of Nebula, or at least Thanos finds out the past version of Nebula can interact with the future version of Nebula, and they find out what their plan is basically going to be done.
He's 54.
54.
It's only 5 years off.
Yeah. So basically they grab future Nebula, and then they trade places where the evil version, we'll just call her the evil version of Nebula, goes back into the future and basically screws up the time, their plan anyways. And they've got all the stones, and the Hulk says, I'm gonna, I can handle the radiation, I'm strong enough, I can handle this, and basically undoes the snap. At that point, while they're doing that, evil Nebula goes to their time machine and pulls Thanos through it with the entire ship, which I'm just like, how does that work? How do you pull an entire ship through?
How do you do that without the Pym
particles?
Also, where do all of the rest of the army come from later?
No, they're on that ship. They're all on that ship. That ship is huge.
Yeah, but when you look at it, it looks like they're coming through portals. Like the space worms and all.
Oh,
Maybe they come off the ship.
I thought they came off the ship.
Maybe
not. I'm trying to think now. Like, there's so much that happens at that point that I'm just like, amazing stuff. But so she pulls the ship through. The ship basically blitzkriegs the Avengers headquarters and just blasts it into oblivion. Which everybody lives through amazingly, and they're all like just fall through to like the sub basement or wherever they are.
Some of them, except for Thor, who's just standing staring.
Yeah.
And Thanos says to Nebula, past Nebula, bad Nebula,
evil Nebula,
he's like, go bring me the stones.
Right.
I'll wait. And he just sits down. He takes his helmet off and he just sits down.
Yeah, because he figures They're going to come to me anyways.
Well, I wonder. I wonder if he's trying to have her prove her allegiance because he knows that in the future she becomes a traitor.
Yes.
So I'm thinking that's probably why he does that.
Probably.
And then Thor sees him.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark.
Tony Stark.
And Cap are like, let's go fight him.
Yeah. Which is a little nod to... they do a little bit of... There's some nods to like comic books in general. One of them is... There was a book called... I think it's Avengers Trinity. And it's about what a lot of people consider like the comic book Trinity of the Marvel Universe, which is Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America. Pretty much those are like what people consider like the main core Avengers. They're usually, one of them is always on the Avengers team at some point. Even through like all the eras and stuff like that. So it was kind of fitting that those three fought him, and I guess those were the first three Marvel movies. It was not the three, but like
no. It went Iron Man, Incredible Hulk.
Oh yes. I had forgotten about that.
But Incredible Hulk is stuck down under in the sub-basement.
Right.
Yeah, but they fight.
Right.
And they do the cool fight. Where they actually, like, Thor is powering up Iron Man, and, like, it's awesome.
Yeah. There's amazing fights going. Like, just, like, the whole thing. They're all, like, fighting at the same time.
Thor's super out of shape.
But still, he's got God powers. He's got both, like, he brought his... old hammer.
When he goes to the past, he brings that up with him.
Which I was just like, that's so weird that you did that, but okay.
Well, I guess he wanted it.
Yeah. So he takes Mew Mew.
Mew
Mew.
Meow Meow.
Meow Meow. And he has Stormbreaker. And basically, like, they're wailing on him a little bit, but Thanos has this I don't even know what you call it, double-bladed sword.
Yeah. Like
staff kind of thing. And, they're going at him. And probably one of the coolest things that we all knew was going to happen, Cap picks up Thor's hammer.
Well, he summons it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even just pick it up. He summons it off the ground.
Does he?
Yeah, he summons it, and then it bashes through Thanos, comes back.
Yes.
Goes into his hand, and Thor's like... I knew it.
Yeah, because that's a little nod to Age of Ultron where he moved it a little bit. And I was just like, you don't just move it a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm betting Cap can pick that up. That's a thing from the comics as well, that Cap has picked up Thor's hammer.
But also Thanos can as well.
Yes. Or no, he doesn't pick it up.
He grabs it. He's able to wield it. He starts to hit Thor with it.
Does he?
Yeah.
I thought he was just like he had his hand.
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, they smack the crap out of each other for a while.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Thor gets knocked out.
Right.
I think,
yeah.
Iron Man gets knocked out.
Mm.
Cap gets his shield busted again.
Yes.
You think he's going to die.
The entire army, like Thanos just brings out his entire army, and that's probably my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Is just Cap lying on the ground. He gets up. He's alone, and there's an entire army with the giant worm things, and all the Black Orders there, and Thanos.
And he starts to walk forward.
Yeah.
Like he's going to go toe-to-toe with them.
With all of them.
That's Cap.
Because that's Cap.
And then you get Bucky, right?
Or no.
No, it's Falcon.
No.
It's Falcon.
I thought it was Black Panther.
No, it's Falcon. Falcon says, on your left.
On your left. You're right.
Because he's got his name, and I just blanked on his name.
Sam.
Cap, it's Sam.
Right.
On your left.
You're right.
And then through a portal, a Doctor Strange portal, comes the Wakanda crew. So Black Panther, Okoye, and Shuri.
Yes. Walk through there.
They start to, and behind them you can see their whole army.
Yeah, and Falcon.
Falcon flies through. Then Doctor Strange, of course, comes through with Spider-Man, Star-Lord, and
Drax and Mantis, and like all the Guardians are there.
Yeah, and they just start all pouring out of these portals.
Yeah, and not even just like them. It's like the Asgardians show up, other wizards.
Yeah, Wong and all of the Doctor Strange
Right.
people.
Yeah, all the other wizards and stuff come, and like just pretty much like everybody is there, and we finally get the what I've been waiting every Avengers movie to hear, which is Captain America going, Avengers assemble, and like everybody charging, and it's like a huge like Lord of the Rings basically battle of like them just going at each other.
I still say this movie should have been called Avengers Reassembled for more reasons than one.
Yes. I mean, obviously that kind of gives things away, but it would have been, I think, a better title for this.
You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, of course. And it's just like them, like every hero. Pepper Potts shows up as rescue. She's in
is that her Iron Man name?
her Iron Man armor and stuff. They call it like she's called Rescue. So she's there. Valkyrie's there. Like everybody's there.
War Machine's got a paint job.
Yeah, and a new suit, I think, too, or something like that. It was like different.
Yeah, it was bigger because his other one got destroyed.
Right. Like he actually had to get out of it. Like when he gets, they like blow up the headquarters or whatever. So they're all just like charging at Thanos, and the fight just continues in a like huge way.
They
and
play
then
hot potato with the gauntlet.
they play hot potato with the gauntlet, and eventually like get it. I think it's like I'm trying to think how it happens. Like Thanos does get it.
Thanos gets the gauntlet back,
Right.
and Doctor Strange. Earlier, Iron Man had said, "Let me know if this," or you said something about it being a 1 in 14 million.
Yeah, is this the one?
Is this the one? And he says, "If I tell you, it won't be."
Yeah.
And then Thanos is fighting Captain Marvel, who showed up and took down his entire ship. His entire ship by just streaking through it.
Yeah. She flew from the other side of the universe or wherever she was.
She Laura Derns her way through the ship. Are we wrong? Like,
No,
is that
no,
not
no.
what she does to the Star Destroyer?
Yeah, she just basically just blasts through this thing, and I'm just like, well, this fight's over, and gets the thing. They eventually Thanos does get it, and
He gets it. They're fighting. Like Captain Marvel's trying to stop him from using the gauntlet.
right,
He takes a power stone in one hand and bashes her with it, and she's immediately back.
right.
Which is why I think she's ridiculous, because she has no weakness.
Yeah, it's way too much power.
She's holding it, and at that moment, after that happens, so I assume that's the probability of that happening is the 14 million, the 1 in 14 million.
Right.
Doctor Strange raises the one finger to Iron Man.
Yeah, saying this is our one chance, basically.
And Iron Man, like, rushes him, grabs the gauntlet, you don't see what's happening.
Right.
And then Thanos, like, bashes him back against the ground.
Right.
He goes to raise his finger to snaps, and nothing happens. He turns the gauntlet over. Iron Man has taken them.
All the stones.
Yeah. And he says, his quote from this one is, "I am inevitable." And Iron Man, like, he looks at Iron Man, and he's like, "I am Iron Man," and snaps.
Yes.
And all of Thanos' garbo turns to dust.
Yeah.
And that is the end of it.
That is the end of it.
That is the end of Thanos, but it's so strong that it's also the end of somebody else.
Yes. This is the end of Iron Man. So we kind of I think everybody kind of guessed that probably he was going to die in this. No one was 100%. I thought maybe he might just retire.
But remember, the Avengers begin and end now. The movies, at least, begin and end with the statement, "I am Iron Man."
Right.
So that's rough. And then you have
Yes.
the funeral, and you have the sadness, and then...
Right. And then after all that stuff, a lot of characters, talking to each other.
Vision, who doesn't exist, and I still don't understand why.
I think it's because he died a regular death, and not because of the snap.
It's upsetting.
I know. In the same way that we didn't kind of say this, but Scarlett Johansson, to get the Soul Stone,
Oh, yeah, she's...
one of the Hawkeye or her was going to have to die, and she ended up dying. Which I'm just like, they have talked about the Black Widow movie, so I don't know what's going to go on with that, unless it's a prequel of some kind or whatever. But yeah, so she is dead. Gamora is actually a version, since she died the
Same way.
same way, that a past version of Gamora is there, but she doesn't know the Guardians or anything. So we'll see how that goes.
They're going to find her.
I'm sure.
Well, that's the thing. They were looking for her on the...
Yeah, he was like, Quill's searching, like putting out a search thing for her or whatever. And Thor is going with the Guardians. Fat Thor. Or Lebowski Thor, as I like to call him. Is going to hang out with
I don't know, because he's not acting Lebowski-esque in that scene.
A little bit.
He's acting aggressive.
There's a lot of, like, who's going to be the leader of the ship kind of thing.
Yeah, which Lebowski, the dude, would not do.
That's true. And he didn't really say that. He was just like, no, you're in charge. Like, you.
He gives that little look.
Yeah, where they're like, because they're all talking about, let's solve this with a couple of knives. Pretty much everybody's talking about that.
Yeah, even Mantis.
Yeah, which I think is hilarious. So we'll see how that goes forward. The stones have to be taken back and put into their correct times, because in that way that, like, Looper is, if you take something out of a certain time period, it would mess with the time stream. You might not remember, like, what the events that happen won't happen, and then explain this in a weird way, but it won't happen. How would you explain it?
I would just say you have to put those back, or everything wouldn't happen the way it was supposed to,
right.
And then things could turn out really bad.
Right. And you wouldn't remember to go back and change the history or whatever. It would mess up time.
So Cap says he'll bring them all back.
Right. Takes Thor's hammer.
Takes Thor's hammer to bring that back also to the same point.
Right.
Says goodbye like he knows what's going to happen, and other people seem to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Even Bucky. He says, don't do anything stupid while I'm gone, Cap says to Bucky. And Bucky's like, why would I? You're bringing all the stupid with you.
Right.
Which I think is a quote from possibly the first Captain America movie.
I think so. I think it is like something they said to each other.
So he knows he's going. I feel like Bucky knows it as well.
Yeah.
And then, he goes back, and then he doesn't reemerge.
Right.
Professor Hulk's like freaking out, like
they what's going on. Sam is like bringing back,
Ant-Man and the Wasp, who do know, and Hank Pym, who also know about time travel and the quantum realm, are not there helping.
Yeah, which I
because I guess they're paid scale.
Yes. In fact, I don't remember Wasp saying too much in this.
Did she even speak?
I can't even remember if she said anything.
Maybe she says something when they have the female empowerment moment.
Yeah, but actually, that's what I was going to tell you. Because I thought about it, and I was like, that's a reference to this book, which was A-Force. A-Force is it's kind of like a little nod to the fans. I get it. Some people think it was like the female empowerment moment.
That's what it was.
A little bit, but it was also the A-Force moment, which is it was the female Avengers. For a while, they had like an all-female
Avengers. What's Okoye?
Yeah.
An Avenger?
At that point, Cap said, Avengers Assemble. That makes everybody an Avenger at that point.
It's ridiculous.
No.
It's ridiculous.
It's exactly what happens.
What were they
Captain
doing
America
until that
says
exact
Avengers Assemble, and everybody comes out.
What were they doing?
Even the guy from the Ape Tribe.
They all stopped the middle of the fight to pose.
That was kind of funny. I was just like, they're all kind of like posing, but sure.
It annoyed me because it was so silly to happen in that way. Like, I get it if they're all helping each other.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But to pose?
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
It's a very strange moment.
Yeah. But it is kind of like a nod a little bit to the comics. But either way.
It's so immersion breaking.
Yes.
It's like they put it there so little girls would have a hero when the whole movie has been about making heroes for everyone.
Yes.
Like Pepper Potts getting in the suit and kicking behind.
Yeah.
That's all you need to show. Or Okoye bashing the crap out of an alien.
You're right.
Same thing with Shuri. With her rocket fists that she has. Don't understand it.
Oh,
it
those
looked
were
awesome.
They were, she had those in the last movie.
Yeah, I know. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think she barely used them in the last one.
No, she didn't.
use them.
She used them a little bit, and then I think she got hit or something.
Have her use them in this one.
Yeah.
And don't make it that. Don't make it awkward for all of us. There's nobody is arguing saying they're not awesome characters.
Yeah.
The only character that's not awesome in this movie, I still would argue, is Captain Marvel, because she's either way too powerful or way too boring or both. And it annoys me.
I know it does.
She literally streaks through a spaceship the size of Manhattan.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, okay.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of like you've made her so powerful. What problem can she not solve?
Well, apparently the problem of holding onto a gauntlet.
Yeah. So, but we're getting way off track here. So eventually, they figure out.
They look left. He's on the bench.
And he's on the bench. And
he's 150 years old.
Yeah. It's old Cap. Which is another nod to something that happened in the comic books, which is Cap, for a time, loses the super soldier serum, and he becomes an old man. But this one, I think, is they actually had him age. And he's there, he's he has a wedding ring on, and Sam comes over, and they have a little exchange, and Cap has the shield, and he's like, hey, why don't you hold this for me, or try this on. And so he kind of hands him the Captain America shield. So we're going into that part of the story, which is Sam Wilson, Captain America.
Yeah, and he says, I think it feels like it's somebody else's.
It's somebody else's.
And he's like, it's not.
It's yours, yeah. So
he's going to become Cap.
Right.
Winter Soldier's not, which is a shame.
A shame, but honestly, I kind of like him better as Winter Soldier. I kind of like that aspect of the character. And they've kept that around in comics, too, where he is, the Winter Soldier forever.
It makes sense that Sam would be the perpetual soldier in this movie series, because he is.
Yeah.
Consummate, is the word.
Yeah,
consummate.
It's very true.
Yeah, I mean, everything was really good except for the weird change to Valkyrie.
Yes.
The lameness that is the one character that we won't speak of, because Tim gets mad at me. Because he's her biggest fan, which I don't understand. She's awful.
We'll see.
She's awful.
I'm going to give her another chance.
She's an awful character.
We'll see what they do in the next movie.
They brought in Sam Jackson to not talk.
I know.
Just to show up.
Which, honestly, that would have been the better interaction, because in the movie, her and Sam Jackson talking to each other was probably my favorite parts of the movie.
He doesn't even fight in that scene.
I know.
Yeah, I literally think the only time you see him is at the end at the funeral.
At the funeral. Yeah, and Colby Smulders, too. I don't think she only shows up at, that
I didn't
funeral.
even see her.
She was kind of, a little bit in front of Sam Jackson, to the side.
Okay.
They pretty much show everybody. And there's some great scenes. There's so many great fights that happen in this movie. Little things here and there. Spider-Man, in the fight, unleashes the death kill of his suit, and he's just stabbing.
It's a death on, yeah.
Yeah.
Stabs aliens.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff. There's so many goodbyes or whatever. Cap does give the shield, and then it flashes back to Cap, which is the end of the movie. I believe in the 50s. Or 60s, I'm not sure. The car looked like a 50s.
I would say 40s or 50s.
40s or 50s car, and it's him and Peggy finally getting to dance. And I guess that's what happened to him. He married Peggy, and he had his good life.
Good. He should. I think it was a great ending for the series.
Yes.
I think all of it was solid.
And
to be honest.
Honestly, if they make more Avengers movies, I think they should wait a little while.
I mean, do the solo ones again and build up the way they did to begin with. Make it a menace, an overarching monster.
Let it be there's a lot of great villains, and they now have most of them back. They can do Doctor Doom, Galactus. They could do another they could do with Kree and Skrull Wars. There's a ton of stuff they could do.
Make your A-Force movie if you want to.
Make your A-Force movie.
They
could do Secret Wars.
Something aside from a pose to make them cool. That's the only thing that gets me.
Yeah.
They're great characters.
They are.
It just bugged me that was how they chose to do that.
It was weird. It was. In fact, there was even a reference to posing in the. I think it was when they go back to the Avengers time period, and Robert Downey Jr. makes the joke of like, all right, let's all stop standing around posing over him or whatever. Let's get get this stuff done.
That's not what should happen.
I know.
They could have cut to anything. They could have cut to them all fighting and like trying to help each other, but no, they just pose.
I know.
Annoying.
I don't know. I think it was just they were trying to get. There's so much stuff going on. They maybe wanted to pause on something for a second before.
They paused.
They did.
It was uncomfortable for a whole theater.
It wasn't.
It was.
No.
It pulls you out like nobody's business.
It's true. There is a little bit of that, but give them a little bit. It was a good movie. I mean, overall, this movie had a lot of humor, character development, which I was kind of surprised. I was like, oh, that's nice that they had some of that in there, and one of the greatest action sequences in a movie.
Yeah, I would agree that this is overall 4-star movie.
Yeah, exactly. I give it 5 stars.
To give it 2 complaints in a 4-star movie, it's nothing.
That's true. And something that was like had so much hype behind it that everybody was just like couldn't wait for it.
Yeah, and it still stood up to expectations, lived up.
But we were going to talk a little bit of Game of Thrones, but I think we're actually running out of time for that.
Okay, we do that next time.
We can do that next time, and maybe even next time we'll talk. I guess the episode after this one. Thank you.
No problem.
And we'll tell you what happens.
Actually, the end to this week's episode was similar to the end of the Avengers.
It's very true. It's very true. But in a different way.
Yeah, well, I mean, that thing happened.
Yeah. Tony was like, I am Iron Man. And
no, the other thing. Certain things all turn to material.
Oh, yes, that's true. It's very true.
I don't want to spoil that in case anybody hasn't watched it.
If you haven't heard it yet, we won't spoil it yet. Because it's Monday and the episode was yesterday, so we'll give people maybe another day.
Yeah.
Or another recording. So, as always, I'm Tim Martinek. You can find me on Instagram at timmartinek.com. You can find Bob.
I'm on Instagram at BobJMartin, MARTON, and I'm on Twitter at Martin, MARTON, _Bob. That's with 2 B's and an O.
2 B's.
And an O.
I don't know.
The O is in the middle.
Yes.
Dividing the B's.
So
otherwise, they take over the world.
You could say it's an O sandwich.
Yeah. There you go.
So, and of course, you can find us hashtag Precarious Pixels. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, and YouTube, all under Precarious Pixels. And as always, we'll see you next week. Create, do your stuff. We're going to talk a bit more about stuff we love next week.
I'm going to troubleshoot Days Gone until I trade it in.
Hopefully your problems will be resolved next week.
Maybe Captain Marvel can fly through it.
Just randomly.
I hope she flies through my motorcycle so I can get on it again.
All right. Maybe you could, just have her like fly you everywhere.
Maybe. Then I could tell her stories and she could just stare with a bored expression.
All right. So we'll see you next week. All right. Bye.
Bye.
To do a little redesigning with us, you can find Bob at Martin, MARTON _BOB on Twitter. And you can find me on Instagram at Tim Martinek, all one word, TIMMARTINEC. And you can join in us, have some fun, do your redesigns for this week's redesign. It's a lot of fun for us to do this, but we like to see fresh ideas and fresh artists like doing what they do as well. You can also hashtag it Precarious Pixels and we'll find it as well.